Never done this before. All right, says we're live.
Oh, dang.
So hey, welcome. We just saw the new Spider-Man trailer. We're gonna talk about that, and then also the new What If episode, the Black Panther. What if T'Challa became Star-Lord? Pretty cool. I kind of want to start off with the Spider-Man trailer because that's just hype.
Yeah,
Real fresh.
literally 20 minutes ago.
I guaranteed right now everyone is talking about that right now. There's just tons of like what's happening, instant react reviews right now. I'm sure YouTube is exploding right now. No idea what's going on there.
Nuts.
Has to be. Let's go around the clock. Lucas, what's your first thoughts on this trailer?
I mean, I'm stoked. I feel like it took a direction that I wasn't expecting, and also we hardly still know anything, which is awesome. Like a good combination. I mean, what are we really saw for the multiverse that may or may not still be happening is Dr. Octopus, which we already knew about.
Dr. Octopussy.
Yeah. But I wasn't expecting the way that they did it with Doctor Strange changing Peter's past. I was not expecting that, so I think that's going to be interesting. There's going to be a lot of ramifications for
that. Was like
his life.
That was like almost like the last day, Mephisto deal thing. Everyone forgets, who Peter Parker is, that Spider-Man, and then also the marriage gets like annulled, to save Aunt May's life. That's like kind of that storyline. Yeah. I'm very surprised they went there, but at the same time, man, I don't know how I feel about the trailer. At first, when it started, I was like, man, I might not like this. And then it got like pretty exciting. It looks good. Like the visual quality, you can tell they put a lot of money into like the visual graphics. So I think we get some high quality stuff, man. I don't know. And then, at the end, we know there's the Dr. Octopus thing. So I think, I don't know, man. I'm pretty hyped about this. And Goblin. Yeah. I'm most excited about the Goblin, actually. We heard his voice. We didn't see him, but we saw a Goblin bomb. Yeah. But I would love to see that dude, man. What do you think, John?
Yeah, no, I'm super hyped. I've been waiting for this for so long, and I'm glad that we're finally getting something that's legit and revealing, like, as much as that supposed fake trailer or leak trailer was. I feel like whatever that was showing was just way too much. And this is revealing a lot of the plot that's more Spider-Man plot than multiverse. I completely forgot about the ending of the last one. And so for this whole movie to be based on that ending makes a lot of sense. It's a Spider-Man movie at the end of the day. It's not just a multiverse movie or, a Doctor Strange movie. It's still going to be Spider-Man based. So that's cool to be seeing that. And then to see that we have Electro, we have Doc Ock, and we have Goblin. Vulture is canon in the MCU as well. So, I mean, we have 4 of the Sinister Six that are canon right now.
Yeah. I mean, we have like Scorpion, Vulture. What else we got?
Or I guess we
have
seen her.
Sandman, Electro.
Sandman.
Aren't they all canon now? Because it's multiverse? So it's like, how many do we have?
Everything's canon now.
Yeah.
Technically, the only other 2, it's Kraven the Hunter and Sandman. Those would be the only 2 that were like the first roster of the Sinister Six that we haven't seen.
We haven't seen Kraven the Hunter. I mean, we've seen Sandman. Kraven. Yeah, we haven't seen Kraven.
I guess.
Yeah, we've seen Sandman in the Tobey Maguire one.
Yeah.
That's true.
That's true. We haven't seen Kraven though, man.
Yeah.
I wish Jason Momoa would be Kraven, but like I think they casted someone else. Didn't they cast recently a Kraven the Hunter like movie? They said they're going to make that a separate thing. I'm pretty sure I heard
something about that.
Yeah.
He wasn't. Kraven's not a mutant, is he?
It was the dude that's going to be that was what the fuck's his name?
Where's Phil?
Aaron Taylor Johnson.
Scarlet Witch's brother. Scarlet Witch's brother.
Yeah. Aaron Taylor Johnson. Yeah.
Yes.
Did we lose Phil?
Yeah, we did.
Hopefully he'll come back because he can just jump in if he wants to. I saw him for a second down the bottom. Phil, come back. I saw you at the bottom. If you see
Phil, where you at?
If you come back, I just got to click a little thing on the bottom. I saw you for a second there, bud. Yes. Oh my God. So they already casted Craven the Hunter. It's gonna be a Craven the Hunter movie. There's Phil. There he is. There he is. What's up, Phil? Phil.
Hey,
Let's get
I
your
think I'm
thoughts,
back
buddy.
in here.
You're in
You're
it.
back.
Let's get your thoughts on this trailer while you're here.
Well, I'm sorry. I won't try to reiterate any points anybody made, but I didn't hear what y'all said mostly. So I would just say I'm trying to say something that was different than what I would guess y'all would say. Okay, so I did hear Lucas talking about Doctor Strange. I didn't expect that angle, but I did like how they took it. They still tried to give it that, boyhood, coming of age angle, which is that he goes to Doctor Strange and he says, "Can you please make it so nobody knows that I'm Spider-Man?" Which, I feel like they have this big multiverse thing going on. They're trying to put Spider-Man movie right in the middle of it, but the director chose to keep it grounded in that, that coming of age story type of situation. So I'm a little bit divided about what I feel right now. I don't know if I'm going to enjoy that or not, but I think it was a
Yeah.
good choice.
Man, the way I understood it is like I feel like Peter Parker's under a lot of pressure. He's just like being crowded by everyone taking pictures of him. He wants everyone to forget. Talks to Doctor Strange. Can you make everyone forget? I don't want to make everyone forget though. I want like Mary Jane to remember. I want Ned to remember. And then he starts talking during the spell and messes things up. And Doctor Strange lost his concentration and messes the spell up. So it could be Doctor Strange's fault. But then now there's like the ramifications of like, oh, we messed up everything. So now, like, the multiverse is like F because I messed up this one spell.
Yeah, what I'm curious about is
hopefully they say it's like Scarlet Witch's fault also, and not just
exactly
my spell.
What started the multiverse? Because we've already seen what started the multiverse. We've already have confirmed of what started it. So how did this spell start it?
Right.
Is like So
well,
maybe
it could be. Maybe it's a side effect of the fact that Kang was just taken out, and at the end of Loki, allowing the sacred timeline to branch out. And otherwise, if that hadn't happened, maybe what happens in the sacred timeline is Peter wishes for no one to remember he's Spider-Man, and it works like it's supposed to. But instead, because he's saying all this stuff, that's one of those branches that was allowed to go on that we see. And maybe that also leads into Doctor Strange movie, like he's dealing with all these ridiculous, branches because it's the multiverse of madness, right?
Yeah, I hope so. I just hope they don't blame it on like just his spell is messed up that created this whole entire alternate timeline. I want to hear what happened with Wanda. I want to hear what happened with Kang and Loki. But I don't think we're going to get that. I think it's going to be like, oh, we messed up the spell. Let's deal with these shenanigans. And then maybe at the end, there's bigger repercussions that maybe combine the rest of the stuff.
Yeah, I'm thinking this might lead into, the Doctor Strange movie, The Multiverse of Madness. So we get a little bit of an extra piece. But I think really Doctor Strange is where it might all converge because Wanda's going to be in that film. There's going to be at least two sides of that piece that are coming together. Though where Kang and the TVA come in, who fucking knows? And
then there's the Ant-Man and Wasp Quantumania, where we will get Kang for a fact. So it seems like maybe that is the end of this arc, and maybe it started with Wanda. And then it goes to Loki. We get Spider-Man, which is kind of like this peak. Go to Doctor Strange, and then it ends with however Ant-Man and Wasp ends. So it's like Spider-Man will be an important piece to the multiverse and the timeline. But like Phil was saying, and I said earlier, like it still is going to be grounded in Spider-Man, and they're not gonna like give him because they kind of did the same thing with Civil War, where they called it Captain America. It was supposed to be a Captain America movie, but it was not a Captain America movie. That was 100% an Avengers film. Like it was. Yeah. So I think they're going to try to avoid doing that and still base it more in this is Spider-Man's life still. And we want to still show a lot of Peter Parker.
Man,
I think that's the way to go. And to me, it feels like it has like the I've heard they want to do Tom Holland as the Harry Potter of the Marvel universe, right?
Yeah.
And it feels so like legitimately like that right now.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I'm down for more Tom Holland. I love that guy.
Yeah.
And I'm excited to see more of his shenanigans. But for this one, I'm gonna feel really frustrated for him. I guess that's just part of the storyline of Peter Parker. You always feel like sad and sorry for the guy and frustrated for him because you want things to work out for him because he's a good guy, but like this things always like on the wrong side for him. It never works out. That's just the beauty of Peter Parker. Peter Parker, I guess. But like, man. I want Mary Jane to them to stay together. That's not going to happen. Like there's so much stuff that's not going to go bad for Peter that we're going to see in this movie. It's going to be kind of devastating, I think, man. I don't know. I'm trying to level my expectations, but like I have this expectation of just like horribleness for Peter.
It might be the last one. I mean, we don't.
You're right.
We don't really get 4 movies that often. I think Thor is the first of its kind to come around with a 4th film coming.
Yeah.
The original contract for Sony and Disney was 2 movies and maybe a third. And then when the third one was announced, they kind of had their disagreements and they broke it off and said they weren't going to make it. And then Tom Holland called everyone by himself and said, "Oh, can we please make this? We're all having so much fun." And he called him drunk, and it's like, "Yeah, can we please do this together? We all love it, right?" And it was like, "Yeah." And
that's good.
Yeah. So now we have this movie coming out, and I feel like Sony, because they're dealing with their hype train of like Into the Spider-Verse, Miles Morales movie. They're like, can we make this next one Into the Spider-Verse, but like live action and not animated, because they won awards, and it's like our only money making movie with Marvel.
Yeah.
But
it won awards because it was animated. Like that's the thing. Like,
so
I
didn't want this movie to begin with, but like I'll take it. It is kind of exciting. It's kind of different, and it kind of works with what's Marvel doing with Loki at the same time. So
yeah.
Yeah, I feel like a big linchpin is that it's a movie stuck in between 2 actual studios universes, nothing to do with anybody's cinematic universes, right? It's like
that's the problem. Yeah, that's kind of the problem.
Some people are being very motivated by their creative drive, and not to undermine the fact that they're also getting a lot of money from it. But like, I feel like Kevin Feige and Tom Holland have pulled a lot of strings to try to keep the narrative and the the artistic side of it alive. But the reality is Sony is gonna hold on to all the Spider-Man rights as long as they can, and that's gonna make it really hard for them to do a lot of things. I feel like Tom Holland could go for a long time making I could see Tom Holland making like 9 movies or something if they made it work. Like we could watch this guy grow into middle age as Spider-Man. It would be dope.
Jr.
Yeah. Let me pose a question to you guys. Like, so what do you guys think is going to happen with Spider-Man, Tom Holland, and the Sony and Marvel universe in the future? For me, I think I'm wondering if they're going to Sony's gonna be like, okay, well, you can use them for your special Avengers movies or bigger event movies, like maybe Secret Wars or like the big ones later down the road. But he's kind of ours, so we'll keep him for a while, but plan for him to use him in the future. So he's gonna be in Venom 3. He's gonna be in who knows, Kraven the Hunter movie. He's gonna be in the Black Cat movie or whatever Sony's dealing with their goofy ass stuff. But you guys can create Miles Morales. You guys can have Spider-Man, Miles Morales, and Marvel, and make a whole entire thing with him on that. So because they don't own the rights to Miles Morales, that's
really?
Still free game for Marvel. Yeah, they only own Peter Parker Spider-Man. They don't own Miles Morales. So as far as I know, but so there's a way
that would explain a lot.
That'd be kind of cool if they can do kind of both like that, and then maybe meet up at later on. But so there's a way around that. I don't know. What do you guys think? What do you think, Lucas?
I think Disney will probably just cannibalize Sony before they allow them to take Peter Parker.
You would hope so.
Yeah.
I wish.
They bought Fox, they bought Star Wars, they bought all the things.
Sony ain't doing that.
But that was so
Yeah,
many
yeah.
properties. Like, Sony has a lot of properties as well, but it's like, I don't see them doing that though. I wish they would, but like, I just don't see them doing that. I don't think there's enough like franchises of them to make enough money on with Sony properties as opposed to like Fox that has like,
Well, for
Aliens
sure.
and Predator and.
Yeah, Fox. I mean, Fox was a crazy move. There's so much that Fox owns, whereas Sony is small beans in comparison. But I don't know, man. They Disney buys Sony, then they also, they're into video games too, even more. Like, I mean, they already
That's
have,
true. Yeah.
the whole Kingdom Hearts thing going on too. So it's I don't know. What did we just see? Disney buys Sony, and then suddenly we have the MCU and Spider-Man and Kingdom Hearts, 69 or whatever, whatever number it is.
Kill me. I would be done. Oh man, I don't know.
Just Deadpool and Donald Duck.
No, I feel like Sony is honestly kind of being spiteful at this point. I think they have that final like property that is so, and they're like, you know what, better, and they do well. Really think they could. It just the MCU has almost like a decade behind them. They have all these like 20 something films and all these properties, and it's like the Sony can just relax a little bit. But I feel like they're just kind of being spiteful, putting up this fight on purpose. And there's talk of Sony in their own Spider-Man movies and Tom Holland appearing in other Sony properties, and I don't know how that would be explained besides the multiverse. I mean, which would make it pretty easy for them. But I don't know. I mean, I would like to see what's going to happen with Venom, and they're doing another one with the vampire guy coming out. What's his name?
Mobius.
Yeah.
Oh.
So
Jared Leto.
and I know, yeah, and they asked Kevin Feige about it.
Oh, it's Jared Leto. Yeah. Oh, I don't like
Yeah,
it.
yeah. They asked him about these properties. Yeah.
Island cult.
But he was asked about like these Sony properties, and he just kind of gave a vague answer, like, I guess, we'll see, which is just kind of like, he's frustrated. He's like, Sony's doing all this shit on the side, and he's just like, God damn it, how do we fit this in? And at a certain point, you just can't. So I don't know. I would hope that Disney can finally buy out Spider-Man, but I don't know. I don't think Sony's going to allow
Sony's
it.
such a wild card. They're such a greedy bastards. They know Spider-Man's like a money-making like franchise, like mine, and also
Right.
everything, including Spider-Man, like all the villains, that's ours too. Oh, we're gonna make a Sable movie. We're gonna make a Black Cat movie. We're gonna make a Kraven the Hunter movie. We're gonna try to make bank on the whole entire Spider-Man franchise. That's ours, money. So they're gonna milk it as much as they can. They're not giving it up. You can't buy that from them. Guaranteed that they won't sell. That's their only money-making franchise. And Venom. I'm surprised Venom was a hit. It was such a bad movie, in my opinion. It was terrible. And like 2 looks even goofier. So but 1, I held to my like own convictions. Like, I'm not gonna watch it in theater. Maybe I'll rent it when it comes to video. I rented it and watched it one time. Like, that was one of the worst movies I've ever seen in my life.
Oh, no.
But like part two, I'm like, okay, it made so much money. There's no stopping this machine. I'll watch it in the theater because there's no stopping the machine. I'll go see it just because I love like comic book movies, and even the bad ones, I'll watch them at least one time. So I'm gonna go see Venom 2 in the theater, I think. But man, unless COVID gets even worse than it is now, then I'll stay away. But I mean,
knock on wood, right?
Yeah, because it's been okay for a while, but now it's kind of getting more dangerous to be out there. R.I.P. today, Eric Wagner from the band Trouble, who died of COVID last night. Yeah, unfortunate, but once again, COVID's a real thing. Don't let it. Don't try to pretend it's not. But yeah, so Sony is not going to give that up. I don't think, in my opinion. So I don't know. I'm kind of scared, man. What's Disney going to do? I don't think Sony will ever give up the Spider-Man franchise. There's no amount of money that that Disney can pay to get it from their hands.
I don't think it's about money at a certain point. I think I honestly think they're just kind of being dirty about it. I think
It's
they're
just
just,
spite.
yeah, I think they're really
Spiteful.
just, yeah, they're watching Disney buy up all these properties, and they're like, we have this gem, this diamond, and it's ours. Throw
Yeah.
$100 billion at us, and you know what? We're just gonna toss it at, like, it's ours until we die. Like, I don't know. It'd be cool if they could work together at least. I mean, if Sony could be a little more like friendlier
Yeah.
than what they are, but they're gonna go ahead and
yeah.
do this.
Like, don't you fuckers want money? Isn't that what this is about? Like,
This is what's gonna happen. Yeah, it was like the more you work
Right.
with Marvel and Disney, you're gonna make money. It's gonna be consistent money. Like,
yeah. They definitely kind of wrote the handbook on how to make a franchise make money. Like, just work with them a little bit.
yeah. I mean, yeah, they're not. You're not gonna get a bad movie. Like with Sony, it's always questionable, and with an MCU film, it's just like, even if you haven't seen it yet, you already know it's going to be a good movie. It's going to be well made. It's going to be well produced. It's going to be well written. They're going to have good actors in it. Like, you know, it's going to be good no matter what. And so, with a Sony movie coming out with Venom 2 or something else, or Mobius, I don't know how to feel about Mobius.
No,
It looks kind of weird to me. I don't know.
Oh my
but-
god, I don't trust Sony movies at all. Like, man, dude, you know it's not going to be good. You know, when like a comic book movie comes on screen for a trailer and it says like in association with Marvel, you're like, no, that's not the real thing. That's the knockoff brand. You know, that's not the real deal. Holyfield, man. You know, you go to see a Superman, like, you know, you go to see like an action hero movie, you know it's going to be Marvel. It's good quality. You know, DC's rolling the dice, but like in associate with Marvel, that's even like worse than DC. I think. I don't know.
Hey, Mom, can we have the MCU? We have MCU at home. The MCU at home.
Yes.
In association.
Perfect. Yeah. Oh, do we have anything else to say about like the Spider-Man trailer before we move on to like the What If episode that happened this week? What do you guys think? Anything else you want to say about Spider-Man trailer, or expectations of the movie or the Sony universe?
You know, I don't think I really have anything so much to say about the trailer in general. But you know, good on Tom Holland for getting with Zendaya.
Yeah, I was gonna say. I thought you were gonna say for making it happen, part 3. But yeah, that too.
Yeah. Also that.
Yeah. Also that. All right. Yeah, man. Yeah, good for him. And she's like taller than him too, right? He's like.
Yeah. He's a little dude.
Yeah. What do you think, John? Any last words about Spider-Man?
No, nothing really. Just probably gonna go watch that trailer again. Just yeah.
Absolutely.
No doubt. All right. Well, hopefully Phil comes back. I will have to have Phil back in here. But we'll move on to the What If episode 2. What if T'Challa became Star-Lord? Pretty cool. I love the episode. I think this is. Oh, there's Phil. He's back in it. Phil.
Hey.
You're back, buddy. Phil, any last words on Spider-Man before we move on, bro?
Oh, yeah. I mean, y'all were talking about Sony and all that stuff, and I just was going to comment that I think that, you know, Sony is really just playing the game right now as far as trying to hold on to those rights. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Trying to make sure they can hold on to them as long as possible. They can't, you know, they got to keep making movies or they lose the rights. And, you know, I feel like you can't really defend Disney or Marvel at this point. They're very much like gigantic corporations that
Right.
you know, are all about getting that paper as well. Like there's nothing, you know, you can't defend them in that way. But I do think there's creators that somehow have found their way to exist in those spaces that are making things that, you know, do rise to the top. So I hope that Spider-Man finds a way to coexist, or I hope that Marvel finds a way back into Marvel's hands, but I don't expect that to happen. So after Spider-Man 3, I mean, all bets are off. I hope Miles Morales can get, you know, a foothold in the MCU, and they can run with that for a while, because
The best Spider-Man.
Miles is an amazing Spider-Man.
Yeah.
One of the best things coming from the Ultimate Universe was Miles Morales, and I would love to see where that would go, and then that's a whole nother thing. It's like it's in there with Fantastic Four and X-Men, these things that haven't even been touched yet, in in this universe of movies. So I mean, I miss so much. I'm gonna go back and watch the episode, y'all. Y'all are doing a great job, but thanks for letting me jump in and out here.
Man, Phil is our head homie in charge. He's on vacation. He's got spotty Wi-Fi, so
he's the watcher.
He's the watcher right now. Usually he's the host. Usually Phil's the host. Phil got this all together, man. Usually he's the host.
Watcher now.
So I gotta step in while he's got spotty Wi-Fi. But until then, man, like Miles Morales is definitely like one of my favorite Spider-Man because he's half Hispanic, I'm Hispanic, and he's like half African American as well, which is awesome. He's like 50-50. But my main Spider-Man, what I love is Spider-Man 2099, Miguel.
Oh,
yes. He's pure Hispanic. Yeah. He's all Hispanic, and he's in the future. And I that's one of the sickest costumes ever. I love that costume so much, man.
He's dope as fuck.
Like Batman, it's such a sick costume. So I'd love to see Miguel sometime in the MCU, sometime in the future. Maybe I wouldn't be surprised to see him in the next 10 to 20 years. Guaranteed to probably be in there because they run out of ideas,
I can't imagine what the MCU would look like 20 years from now. I mean,
wild.
Yeah. I can't imagine his costume with all the texture on it.
I don't even know what. Yeah, like.
Speaking, I mean, the what if shows I feel like are the perfect, flower bed for those kind of things to pop up. I feel like we would see Miguel. I feel there's so many 2099 properties that we would see pop up in what if. I mean, just guessing. I don't know.
Yeah, I'm really surprised. Like, I guess that kind of made a comeback recently in the comics. Like, they had a Marvel 2099 thing happen recently in Spider-Man stuff. So, very briefly for like the last 2 weeks, I think. And then I guess recently the newest issue of Hulk, I think there was a Venom 2099 pop back up again from the 90s. He's like now back again for just very briefly, but kind of cool that they're at least mulling around and trying to play with his characters.
It's funny how
pretty interesting.
Yeah, I think it's funny how it's like 2099 and it's like this super future, but it's really not far in the future, especially from what we've seen in the Marvel universe. Like, we've seen a lot of characters from the future. Like, specifically this 2099 universe is like, for some reason in the year 2099, the entire world became cyberpunk for exactly 1 year. And then they moved on when it became the year 3000.
Yeah. The one thing they got correct, though, I think, in Spider-Man 2099 is like the main villains in Spider-Man 2099 is like, there's not like a Green Goblin. There's not like a main villain. The main villain in 2099 Spider-Man is corporations. It's
Roxxon,
like,
right?
Yeah, Roxxon.
Which we saw that in Loki, right?
Not Roxxon, but it's something else. Roxxon is the main corporation villain in the Marvel universe in the 616, but it's not 2099. It's some other company. I forgot what that company is called, but same kind of thing though. It's like that's this whole entire thing is like, how do I beat a corporation? But that's awesome. That's because the writers thought of that. It's like, how do we beat capitalism? That's like choking society. What do we do?
It's always the ultimate unfortunate culmination of the worst possible scenarios is that, oh yes, all these people, they got wealthy and then they were going to destroy everything against them that would take their wealth. And it's again and again, so many stories go this way. So when you see 2099, you can't be surprised.
Yeah.
I mean, what you guys are just telling me is this somehow leads to communist Spider-Man in the future.
Yeah, man, dude. Our last show, I almost wore my Superman Red Sun shirt, which is like the Superman logo, but it has the sickle and hammer.
I love that. The Spider-Man sickle and hammer version. I don't know that. The red
I got earful wearing that shirt a couple times. But if you guys, we're done with Spider-Man. Do you guys have anything last things about Spider-Man before we move on to the whatever episode?
No, that trailer. Honestly, I'll just say I'm looking forward. They said it was the teaser trailer, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Yes.
What a teaser!
I'll leave it with that. That it was for me a teaser. That I hope there's more coming.
Man, what a teaser! God damn.
Yeah,
It's a good
you know,
teaser.
I'll just leave it as because the multiverse exists, communist Spider-Man is now canon.
Yeah, he's coming for you. He's coming. And also Antifa Spider-Man, right? He's like his partner.
Antifa
Robin.
Spider-Man, yeah.
He's
gotta make
like
those
dressed like
memes.
Spider-Man Noir, all in black. He's gonna punch it. All right. Well, I guess not newest episode of What If T'Challa became Star-Lord. Man, I watched it once. I wish I watched it again. I meant to one more time, but I did watch many reviews on top of that, so I got the gist. You know, when I watch it, usually it's like the premiere day, and I'm so tired from work. I ate dinner while I'm watching it, and then I'm like dozing off, and like while I'm watching it, I don't mean to. I'm just like exhausted from working so many hours. You know, but you know, I understood everything. I think, but I loved it. I think it's my favorite episode so far. It's only 2 episodes in. And it was awesome, man. And it's not Chadwick Boseman's last performance. We're going to see him again in the future, which kind of leads to my theory that, you know, all this is going to lead up to like a big event, everyone fighting together of like a new What If Adventures kind of thing. So I don't know. What do you guys think? Well, Lucas, you want to go first?
Yeah, I mean, I really enjoyed it. I think, you know, what was cool about this one is, you know, I think the first episode was very linear. You know, it very much followed kind of that first Avenger as a movie, and then this was just like this episode turned everything on its head. There was so many ramifications for the MCU. If T'Challa ended up being Star-Lord, I mean, you turn Thanos into a good guy. I mean, like fucking wild, right?
I'm
like,
talking
I mean,
to him.
yeah.
Talking to him.
Yeah. Like, I mean, you know, we talked about in the first episode. It's like, oh, well, maybe there wouldn't be Tony Stark as Iron Man because, you know, Steve ended up becoming the first Iron Man. But this is just like, okay, well, none of anything in the MCU happened because T'Challa became Star-Lord. So it was cool. I mean, a really cool reimagining. I also like so much that all of the voice actors were the same people, except for Chris Pratt was not Star-Lord.
Yeah, and Dave Bautista.
Oh yeah. Oh, Dave Bautista wasn't. Yeah.
No,
yeah.
But the guy sounded just like him. Amazing.
Yeah. I didn't even realize that. But
he sent out a tweet that said like they didn't even contact me, and they're like, yeah, we did, but it goes to a guy that talks to a guy that talks to a guy, and a lost in connection along the way that you.
Yeah.
So, unfortunate, but
yeah.
How in the world? That doesn't make any sense.
yeah. They're like, we got you to like your manager or whatever, and he talked to somebody else about, you know, it's kind of like the phone call thing, you know. He's like, oh no, Marvel's like, no, we did, and
he's been in a direct line to Marvel. I mean, come on.
Yeah. His first
Marvel,
response was like, they didn't talk to me, they didn't ask me, and then Marvel's like, yeah, we did, but like, you know, yeah.
Yeah, they're like, dude, we brought Seth Green back to be Howard the Duck.
Howard the Duck.
We definitely reached out.
Yeah.
So good. Yeah, my first thoughts, was like, oh wow, when he says, oh, I'm Star-Lord, the guy's like, oh, the Star-Lord? You're so famous and you're amazing and I love you. Like, it's exactly the reaction Chris Pratt's character was like looking for in the movie, you know, like so funny. That was amazing. Great start, and then from there, it goes on. But I guess we'll keep going around. What's up, John? What did you think of this episode?
I think it would be really funny if Chris Pratt Star-Lord could watch that episode. I think that would make him really, really mad because he's seeing T'Challa get all of this praise that he could have had. I think that would be really funny to see. But no, I thought it was really insane. I just watched it right before the Spider-Man trailer came out. I was watching the episode again for like the second or third time. But it's just like T'Challa was a nice guy, and so the entire universe changes. Like everyone's fucking life changes in like the most minute detail. Like it's so interesting, and Thanos being so chill, and then joking off genocide. It was just so random. It didn't make any sense. It was so random, and I loved it. It was so cool. And then like the Wakandans were traveling through space. Apparently, they had a spaceship that we never saw in the movies. That was something we never saw them go to space. So
that's right. They're full mannequins in the collectors.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So I'm curious, like, how long have they been traveling to space? What was that all about? What were they doing
that makes
then?
sense with the comic stuff, because in the comics, the last storyline before the newest kind of reboot thing was like, that it was a whole entire interplanetary Black Panther Wakanda planetary society. So it was like T'Challa woke up not knowing he was T'Challa, not knowing he was like the leader, just he thought he was like a slave, and like a whole entire Wakanda planetary kind of thing that they were against, of how like America takes over countries and things like that. Like that's how Wakanda was doing for planets. And he's like, I'm kind of against this, And so that was a very interesting story.
He was colonizing planets.
Right. He was
That's cool.
Yeah, exactly. Wakanda
he turned into a
Wakanda was
colonizer.
colonizing planets, but he wasn't. He was a slave. He woke up like not remembering anything who he was or anything. So he's trying to figure out who he was and what happened, where he's at, and things like that. But it made for a good, interesting story at the start, and then it kind of got boring after a while. But as comics do sometimes. But it's a good premise. But that's really cool. They kind of dealt with that in the show. Was like, interplanetary Wakanda, and that's pretty fun.
Yeah.
What do you think?
What were they doing? And there was so much, so many things that changed. Thanos' daughter, I forget her name.
Nebula.
Nebula.
I didn't even think about that. Yeah, like what? It was pretty wild, and to think that maybe the Collector is currently like the Thanos level villain in the universe at the moment, and
super rich.
Yeah. And then I guess the ending is when we saw Ego himself, and it does Star-Lord or Peter. Is his name Peter too? Yeah, his name's Peter, right?
Peter Quill.
Yeah, Peter Quill. Does Peter Quill become the ultimate villain because he didn't meet all his people beforehand, and all of a sudden he just meets his dad out of nowhere? Does he become the ultimate villain?
What I want to know is why did he work at that Dairy Queen, in the middle of nowhere, where his dad planted a plant behind, in the middle of nowhere? They were on a road trip driving to that Dairy Queen. So why is Peter Quill working at that Dairy Queen in the middle of fucking nowhere? It's like, I don't know. But I mean, that's fun continuity, but at the same time, it's like, okay, I'll let you get away with that continuity. But yeah, I agree. I think he's going to be like a bad guy as well. And it's going to lead somewhere that's going to fight, the first episode of, Captain America, or not Captain America, but, Captain Britain. No, not even Captain Britain. Captain Carter. Yeah. What do you think, Phil, man? What do you think of that episode, man?
Oh, man, so many things. This episode was super exciting. It was the first one that I got to watch with my wife. I got Lee to watch it with me.
Cool.
The first one I had to get it in, but this one I was like, we got to watch this together. And we watched it. And okay, so many things. The number one thing was the animation style worked so well for me on this episode, because I feel like with so many aliens in the mix, like it really lended itself a lot better to the whole cell shading, color, purple, blue, green heads and stuff like that. I thought that really, and then the only reason I bring it up is because I feel like Thanos was so, like, the MCU version of Thanos in this episode of What If was so perfect compared to ever since this episode came out, and I've seen pictures of Thanos from the movies and stuff and memes. It's like, it just doesn't hit the same anymore. I'm like, no. Like the animated version of Thanos with these thick ass lines on his chin, like that's the Thanos that I know, and I'm not even going to go down. Like, y'all talk a lot about how Thanos is like a good guy, which is just amazing to see that. But to touch on that same subject, I thought it was really cool how this episode really gave you that otherworlds feeling, that what if, that alternate universe feeling, like the first I can't remember, either John or Lucas, somebody was saying that the first episode felt really linear, and I agree. It was very much matched up to Captain America And this one was very matched up to Guardians of the Galaxy. Like they definitely are playing that game with what if. Like what if comics are based straight up off comic stories. Well, the what if episodes are straight up based off MCU movies, which is cool to see that kind of playing out now, to know that, well, the next episode is probably going to be, you know, something you can match up to whatever the relevant movie is, right? But like this one really spun off into its own possibilities, and it was super enjoyable. Like so many of the things that played out to me were just the whole time I was just tickled, man. Like I think they did a really good job with it can't be understated, like getting Josh Brolin to be Thanos as like the nice guy Thanos is like it's very difficult to you know, sum up how silly and fun that is to watch. But like so many of the other characters, even the Collector, like Benicio del Toro, he did a great job like as the big bad. You can tell he doesn't have the potential to be as bad as Thanos. Like nobody was ever joking about the Collector as Captain Genocide, right? Like even when he was an okay guy. But okay, so like Thanos is okay now, but yet we're gonna call him Captain Genocide or whatever. Like that's a dark ass joke, you know, like and I love that it felt like the conversation was very meta, that like the audience was in on this joke, because we all know that like it's very easy to, you know, count Thanos's argument out because like, hey, bro, that's genocide. Like, we don't think that's a good idea. And they just went there in the episode, like again and again. They just hit that nail on the head. So I don't want to go on too long because I mean, there's so many ways we could go with this episode, but it was a very high point for me, like a very enjoyable episode.
Yeah, for sure, man. You know, for me, Benicio del Toro's voice was pretty unrecognizable. A lot of times I was like, is that his voice? You know, it was kind of hard for him to like, you know, make him. Usually he sounds like himself, but like he did not like sound like himself at all.
No, I thought that too. I was like, oh, they had somebody else voice him, and then like I looked at the credits and I was like, no, okay, that was him. He just sounded different to me.
Yeah, I heard some people complain about that, about not Gamora, but the other sister,
Nebula.
Some people said that, but like, that makes sense because she's an actual new character. You know, she's like, she didn't go through the pain and punishment. She's not so like monochromatic. It makes sense for her to sound different, but like as for the Collector, it didn't make sense for him to sound like that different. You know, but maybe he decided he should sound different. So I don't know. But you know, for me, it was hard to tell that Benicio del Toro was Benicio del Toro. So for me, that was like a little negative spot, but still really great overall. And you know, went unexpected places. You know, I suppose the last episode was like pretty predictable as where it's going to go. It's kind of a recreation of the first, you know, Captain America movie, the first Avenger. But this one's like kind of went all kind of like around in places that you wouldn't expect, and that was really a nice surprise. And not so much a surprise, but it was a nice change of pace. So I'm excited for the next episode, which I hear.
Howard the Duck, man. I love that they just really went in.
They went in with Howard, man.
When you're out of luck, always go duck. I mean,
he's got his like anti-gravity drink, his alcoholic anti-gravity drink. He's sipping on that green.
Yes, I love that they like went in on a couple of different things. I mean, they had what's the communist dogs? The Russian dog was there.
Yeah.
So fully.
Yeah.
A lot of those little elements of Guardians of the Galaxy and really just the Marvel, you know, galactic universe got to play out in this episode that doesn't get to come out in the well, like we saw Skrulls, you know, Skrulls were there and I feel like there's probably so many Easter eggs I can't remember, but just having the Collector be kind of the core of this episode, you know.
Yeah, he had like a wall of weapons. You know, we saw like he had a Hela's helmet,
the cap shield, Hela's helmet.
Cap shield, and it makes you wonder: are those characters dead? You know, or are they just missing those items? Is Captain America dead? You know, is Captain America dead? I don't know.
Yeah. He had Thor's hammer.
Is Thor dead? The hammer's there.
He had
is Hela dead? Is Hela dead? He had a Hela's helmet. Is Hela dead?
Right.
Well, that's a good
But-
question because do we know how is the Collector seems much more brutal in this show,
Right.
whereas in
And
the
that
past he
is-
probably would have been happy to just take the item, but
Yes.
now he
And that's
you know,
also one universe though. Like they could still be alive, but like in a different like multiverse. So like maybe in this one they're not gonna talk about it. But like
oh wow.
they're dead. But like the other ones, like they are still alive. But then again, it's like, okay, well you have those items, but do they work in the other multiverses? Because I don't think they would.
Oh, good
So,
point. Because in Loki they talked about how the
Right.
Infinity Gems only
Yeah.
work in their universe. So
Yeah,
Right.
Oh yeah.
but I don't know. I didn't get the idea that the Collector was like a multiversal collector. I felt like
Me
he
either.
was
Yeah.
just the Collector in his universe, but
Yeah.
you
I
know,
like to
still
think
did
that
a lot
the
of
collector
damage.
doesn't know about the multiverse. That's what I think. You know, it's like
Yeah.
I would hope so.
he just like has a certain viewpoint, and that's it. You know.
I think if he could have collected from other multiverses or other universes, we would have seen a communist Spider-Man in a box.
Yeah, and he has the Infinity Gauntlet and like Cell on the Sickles. You know.
Yeah.
Very
really
rare
do.
prize
Push him up
possession.
kind of Spider-Man. I love it.
Oh man,
Well, man, damn. I'm
don't
not
know
even
if
sure
that's-
how long. Yeah, I can't even see how long we've been going for 45 minutes. You guys
45,
have any like
49.
last 15 minutes? I feel like maybe go for an hour. You guys like if you're cool with that. Do you have any
Yeah,
last thoughts
absolutely.
about like what if where it's going to go with the next episode? I heard that rumor about the next episode is going to be Loki. If he, I think, held the hammer or
Oh.
ruled over the world, I think might be the next premise.
Oh yeah,
Which is what I
there
heard.
is.
I didn't research it. This is what I heard. I didn't research it. So
Yeah, there is
kinda
an
what I heard.
episode supposedly about Loki. I don't know. I know all I've heard is Party Thor. They said that a character known as Party Thor is going to be in What If.
I've seen
I don't
the
know what that
art for
means.
Yes.
Yeah.
Party
So I guess
Thor.
that would make sense in the world of Loki. If he's the ruler, then Thor can be the
Loki
cutout,
on
right?
Earth.
Oh, is that what the next episode is?
Well, that's like the theme
Excuse
is Loki on Earth. But people aren't sure what that exactly means.
Fair.
Yeah,
okay.
I'm assuming
Interesting.
Loki just rules the world, and what happens if Loki rules the world.
Well, I'm going to say I'm excited about this second episode. Really, to me, felt like it showed the potential of this whole principle of What If. I felt like when they rolled out this whole slate of TV shows, right? Like Disney Plus is like, oh, we got, WandaVision, Loki, Captain Falcon, Winter Soldier, like, you're kind of like, what if, is that really going to be on the level with these? And I feel like it's really showing its promise with these episodes, like with this episode especially.
Oh yeah.
I feel like if they really go in and explore, it's always about what if this thing happened and all these other things were different. And this episode really delivered on that for me.
Yeah.
All
Yeah.
these other things that are different. It's not to say that Captain Carter did that, like, right? I mean, we saw Steve as Iron Man, right? You saw Winter Soldier as a healthy, well-adjusted person, and there was a lot of little things that spun off. But this episode was like really like a totally different universe, right? And
It's
that
galactic.
yeah, it was so enjoyable. Just to see the contrast between the world you expected you can't really expect it when you hear T'Challa is Star-Lord. Does that mean, is this a Black Panther movie? Is this a Guardians of the Galaxy movie? You don't know. So what is the next movie? Is this like based on the Avengers? Is it based on Thor? Hard
Yeah.
to say. But
Yeah,
I am
yeah.
excited about they are able to lay out all these possibilities, and they really have been delivering. Like they really have taken like the comic book approach to the Marvel movie properties. You know what I'm saying? Like they have really laid out the possibilities that they've already created in these movies. Like they don't even need the comics. They're just like, we're going to do that in the movies now. Like we've learned how to do this in the comics. We'll use our movies to show you how that works. And I think it's successful so far.
Oh, no doubt. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Did we lose Lucas?
I'm sure he just like kind of had to step out for something. Maybe he had to piss.
Take a
What
big
if?
jump, man.
What if Lucas
What
has
if
a
what
pee?
if he? What if I had to
No, I'm really excited for what's going to happen. I think I see. I've heard that the third episode's going to be about Iron Man 2, Thor, and Hulk,
Oh
Oh,
wow.
and possibly also when Captain America's found, because that's all referred to as Fury's big week. And
okay.
so, if that's the case, there's a lot that could happen there. I mean, all three of those movies were very big things. And I think at the end of Hulk, they find Mjolnir, and then
Oh, we lost John. What's this on the cliffhanger? He's like, and then
oh no,
He's back.
he's back. He's back.
okay. No, I was just saying, like, in all three of those movies, there was also like, very big things that happened. Even actually a fairly boring film, but it was a good movie, and it introduced Thor pretty well, I think. But for those three movies to all happen in the same week, with one of them, with Captain America being discovered on ice at the end of one of those movies as well, and then a What If episode going to go and explore that week. I mean, there's a million different things that could happen that fundamentally change what happens after those events. Like, will Ultron eventually happen, or does someone else pick up Mjolnir? What if Fury? Anything could happen. I mean, or
I'm pretty sure
I
that's
would say,
future episode. Yeah, I'm pretty sure the
Yeah,
episode is what if Ultron gets all the Infinity Stones. I think that's a future episode.
that would be cool.
Dang.
Yeah.
And
I
what if
don't know
what if
that one.
instead
what
of
if Ultron was not the second Avengers movie? That would be tight to see to me. I just feel like
Whoa.
Ultron was like really shoehorned in there because
Yeah.
a year before Avengers 2 came out, they were bringing back Age of Ultron in the comics, and it was not really a great comic event. I mean, it was fine, but it was like that was the era where the Marvel movies were like, we're gonna take whatever's happening in the comics, we're gonna force them into these movies to sell these comics. And I don't really like Josh Whedon either. So at the time, I thought he was all right.
Yeah.
Whatever, he got a bad deal. He's trying to do his thing. Maybe he was, maybe he wasn't. Like, there's certain things I would be willing to defend about what he wanted to do with the storyline. But at the end of the day, that movie that movie was just a fucking meat grinder ass movie.
Man, it's funny because like I love Age of Ultron, like the movie, as like what's one of my favorite like Marvel movies is Age of Ultron. For some reason, I love like Ultron's voice, like he's so menacing, and
Yeah.
I and it's such an important piece of the MCU. There's so many repercussions from that movie. It's so important to like the whole entire like piece. So I love Age of Ultron, but like the comic is so much better than the movie. Same thing with Civil War. Civil War is so much a better comic series
Okay,
Yeah,
than the
yeah.
movie. They're
Absolutely.
totally two different pieces. Like the comics are so much better than the movies. Like and they're not the same thing at all. But like man,
No, yeah.
No.
One of my biggest problems was the Civil War movie, because that was by no
people are
means
really disappointed in that. Yeah.
that was by no means a representation of Civil War at all. I mean,
Well,
right.
again, it's
they
a
were gonna
perfect
do Civil
example.
War.
They're trying to just shoehorn
Yeah,
comic
yeah.
property into the movies the best they can. I mean, that was a big deal too, to be able to pull that off. But you're right.
Man, it wasn't. Yeah, and it wasn't like the comic event was like, if they were going to do Civil War realistically, they would have to do that film in 20 years when
Yeah.
they have introduced, this pantheon of characters, because
Well,
that's
it's
what
funny
it is.
too, because the
Man,
thing about
they
it, the
could've
end
done
of
it.
the Spider-Man movie is like straight up from Civil War. I mean,
They could have done it because they had the end of like Luke Cage, at the end of Daredevil, they all the street level characters. Civil War is like Luke Cage is like the leader of like the new Avengers. The government comes in and busts down like the projects. They just destroy blocks and blocks. Like it's almost like the bomb movement, in Philadelphia.
Well, no, yeah.
No,
What happens is they how it begins is just so much darker than in the movie too, because someone I forget who they are, but they blow up a school. They blow up a school and kill a bunch of kids, and it kind of just
and
stems
it was
from
like
there.
on a live reality show.
Yeah. It's like
Right.
really
Which is
dark.
super dark.
it's like the real
Yeah.
world. And you fuck up and explode everything. Yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah.
Let me ask you. I mean, maybe you'll remember better than me, Jason. But was the Civil War II happening right around the same time that the Civil War movie happened? Because
I think so, because like Civil War II, they forced Brian Michael Bendis, the writer from Part 1, to make a Part 2. He didn't want to,
What?
but like they kind of forced him to do that. I
yeah,
guess because they're gonna make Civil War movie, and
I didn't know there's a part 2.
he kind of made Captain Marvel, the heel.
yeah, she was
the
a big.
bad guy, and so people call it nowadays the death of Carol Danvers, the character assassination of Captain Marvel. Like people still don't like her because of how villainized she was in Civil War II. Like it ruined Captain Marvel. Now they still don't even know what to do with her. She's been rebooted like 4 or 5 times since then. I think she's been rebooted 3 times in the past year. Like they don't know what to do with Captain Marvel, Carol Danvers, because like she's been a villainized character. So such a hard thing from Civil War II, and so like now, like I don't know. I think they're hoping people have forgotten, but like people haven't.
I mean, yeah,
so,
if you're a comic, if you're loyal to the comics, I get it for sure.
What
Yeah,
what was Civil War II about? What happened in Civil War II?
Civil War II was like Captain Marvel. Well, I guess Civil War I was like Tony Stark, Iron Man against Captain America, and Civil War II was Iron Man, Tony Stark against Carol Danvers, Captain Marvel, and so she was kind of more for the states or the country, and Tony Stark kind of flipped sides. I think he kind of chose Captain America's point of view. I think, but I think I think Captain America died during that time. I might be mistaken, but also I think during Civil War II, I think Carol Danvers also killed Iron Man in that series. So that was the death of Iron Man.
It sounds forced,
and it was very forced. And so then he became a hologram, and then later on you got Ironheart, Riri Williams. So we're looking forward to her TV show. That's coming up.
Yeah,
so
that's
we're
gonna be cool.
See hologram Iron Man, probably. I'm sure. I guess they announced recently that Riri Williams is going to premiere in Black Panther 2.
Oh, okay, cool.
So
whoa,
yeah, that's a new thing. So I'm not sure how they're going to kind of throw in there, but
I heard a rumor that Tony Stark will be in Armor Wars, like as a flashback.
That would be nice. That I would really like to see Tony, because that's one of the biggest storylines in Iron Man comics is Armor Wars. As a whole entire story arc in Iron Man comics is like Armor Wars. It's one of the biggest ones. So hopefully we see Tony Stark again. That's why I was hoping to see Riri Williams, and that's what I really, really hope to see. That dude that was the villain in Part 2. He was kind of like Stark Industries, but the opposite.
Hammer.
Justin Hammer.
Yeah.
Justin Hammer. That actor, that dude. Moon. He's in Moon and a bunch of other movies, but that dude, I hope to see him again because he's such a great actor. And I don't remember his name.
I would hope they would do that storyline justice, because Sam Rockwell is such a great actor.
Yeah,
I mean, really underrated. I feel like I think the first time I ever recognized him, or like he connected with me, was he was in Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy as like the the goofy captain character.
That's a deep
movie
cut.
Is garbage. I mean, but he was.
I like that movie.
Well, it's just such a hard. I mean, I'm not trying to.
No, I know what you're
saying.
saying.
Anybody's opinion. I didn't like the movie, but it's only because I hold Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy in high regard, and I feel like any on-screen rendition of it has not been good compared to the book. But Sam Rockwell was so good as that character, and he reminds me of Futurama. Who is the captain? I can't remember. I need to go Google him real quick. It's so nice to do a podcast where you can Google things while you're talking.
Right.
What is this? Zach Brannigan. Yeah, I feel like
Zach Brannigan
was completely inspired by that character, and I feel like Sam Rockwell really channeled that. But yeah, I would love to see him come back, man. And I just think that I guess to get back to my original point, that Marvel should really do the Armor Wars justice, because there's no intellectual property rights issues. They They should
Right.
be able to do everything they want to do with that.
Yeah, all they have to do is just throw money at Robert Downey Jr. I mean, like I know like reviving him would kind of make his death in Endgame really cheap. I think that's what they're trying to avoid. They don't want to take the value from his death because he gave his life to like, bring everybody back. But I wouldn't mind him coming back in some sort of way through the multiverse or as an AI, or
Yeah.
something, some sort of way, because he could easily come back as an AI and just kind of haunt an Iron Man suit and just be Tony Stark.
After the not successful Doctor Dolittle reboots, I think he's hurting
Yeah.
for money, and I really, really hope he's like, yeah, I'm Tony Stark. And
I wouldn't say hurting, but I definitely know that he wants to keep getting paid.
yes,
Yeah.
I would
exactly.
really hope he's not hurting for money. I mean, Jesus
No,
Christ. If
he
anybody
can't be. He
That
can't be.
in-game
There's no
money,
way.
I mean,
Yeah,
alone.
he has made so much money. There's no way he is spent it all. There's no way. But I mean, if he wants to continue making money, like, and to be relevant, if his ego sticks to that, be like, I gotta be important, then yeah, be in Marvel movies again. Be a hologram.
Please.
Be a hologram.
I would, yeah, please. I mean, if
Film
they
for a
ever
week,
attempted
you're
to,
done.
yeah, like I just don't want them to attempt to replace him, because Robert Downey Jr., he is Tony Stark in heart and spirit. Like he looks like him. He plays him so well. That's not a replaceable
Absolutely, yeah.
actor. That was a perfect cast, I feel like.
I feel
and
like
so,
he
like,
has the potential to be, that Michael Keaton as Batman in Batman Beyond type situation, because I feel like he has ridden the storyline out as like the original Tony Stark. I feel like he can't. I just feel like it doesn't make sense for him to come back unless he's doing something kind of sideways, kind of kooky, kind of, I'm not committing to a full trilogy of movies, but I will do
right.
a whole bunch of cameos. Or, honestly, I could see him coming back, maybe not this season. I'm going to call whatever's happening at Disney Plus a season. I say maybe 2 or 3 seasons of shows, because they're definitely not going to stop doing that. I can see him coming back for one of those type of shows, for like a whole show as like a big promotional thing. Because,
I mean, they could.
I just feel like
Yeah,
they're just lower commitment, easier shooting schedules, and
absolutely.
I just
They
don't
love
think
the
that
shows.
dude's ready to quit, man. He's like so good. Like he can't be ready to quit. He's so good.
Yeah, and they can do the Star Wars thing where they can go back and plug in stuff in the timeline that that we've already seen the things around it happen. Supposedly, we're gonna see.
Man, I might have lost you guys.
Hello. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
You can hear me?
Yeah.
We lost Jason.
I like Jason's little icon there. That's cool. He's got the hat, the ear, everything. Like,
Damn.
I need
That's
one of
good.
those. How do I get one of those?
How did he do that so quickly?
It's
He
even
was
accurate. I mean,
prepared.
his hat says co-produced by Speedweed tonight, so it's not 100% accurate, but it's pretty damn close. Like,
It's pretty damn close. I love that.
well, what were you saying? It started to break up, and I lost your train of thought. What were you talking about?
Shit, I lost my train of thought too. What was I saying? Damn it. I was on it. I was going and I was
Robert
on it.
Downey Jr.?
Oh, no. There is rumors that Chris Evans is going to come back to play Captain America whenever he left during Endgame and just lived out his life as like an old man. Apparently, they're talking about doing a show and doing like, oh, this is what he was doing as basically a Steve Rogers variant. And
Okay.
and yeah,
I'm not
apparently Chris
really-
Evans is on board to do that. So that'd be cool.
I would watch it. I'm not gonna lie. I would be much more interested to see. There's a whole like alternate timeline where Steve gets sucked into this weird like post-apocalyptic world. I'm gonna have to go find the comics and send you guys this comic storyline because it's amazing. Like he has a son with a Nomad. Basically, is his son that he finds out in this post-apocalyptic. Let me see if I can just find it since we're just like.
Whoa,
Let's see, Captain America.
that sounds insane.
I feel like it's a Hickman book. Let me see. Here we go. Let's see what this says. No. I'll have to do a little more research. I read the whole series. It's very good. It's very weird. Let me see who did let's see. I hate being on the stream trying to remember shit. I'll be honest with you. I can never remember anything on the stream. Let's see. Fear
I feel that.
Agent. Fear Agent was written by Rick Remender. That's probably who I'm trying to think of. Rick Remender, I think, wrote this story about Captain America. Maybe. See if
You're talking about the death of Captain America.
Say that again.
You're talking about the death of Captain America.
No, I mean, yes, I think you hit the nail on the head as far as what I was trying to Google.
I just jumped in at the end.
Maybe you'll know the weird like alternate timeline version of Captain America where he lives like in a post-apocalyptic world where there's almost nobody else, and he has a son, Nomad, that he discovers after a while, and then damn, I hate trying to remember stuff live on the stream. I'll get back to you guys next episode. It's a great series, man.
That sounds insane. I want to.
Yeah, one of my favorite Captain America books.
Are you guys familiar with what's happening in the comic book industry right now? There's a whole entire kind of thing going on with this one thing called Substack.
No, and tell me about that.
Substack is like this, I guess, email kind of thing for, I guess, writers and authors. Where it's almost like a Patreon, where there's a paid subscription to get like, you know, you can choose like the free email thing, but there's also a subscription thing of like monthly and, you know, annual, like yearly, or like a founder's kind of fee, which is like I think $250. I think the annual is like $70, and I think the monthly is like $7. But anyways, a bunch of writers from like Marvel and DC have moved over to Substack exclusively.
Wow.
The writer, the previous writer for Spider-Man, he wrote Captain America recently too during the last event. Nick Spencer, I think is his name. I forgot, but he's kind of like the head of development for Substack. So he's kind of recruiting a bunch of people, and so he recruited the best of the best, apparently. And so you have James Tynion IV. He's writing Batman right now. He's going to stop writing Batman. He's going to move exclusively over to Substack and do creator-owned stuff only exclusively there. Wow. I think he even stopped using Twitter. Like he's only, you know, yeah, he's just moving there exclusively. He's really doing really well for himself right now. He's has a comic on Image called Something is Killing the Children. It's a huge hit that's recently got picked up for a TV show. They're making a TV show of Something is Killing the Children. He's making a spin-off series of that. But there's also Jonathan Hickman is doing a Substack exclusive comic on there as well, with partners with other comic book writers. So I think he has Al Ewing, Ram V, who's writing Swamp Thing right now. I'm trying to think who else. He has like 4 other comic book writers like under his like belt. Kind of how he was in charge of the X-Men. He's doing this thing called Three Moons, Three Worlds, or something like that. I think some kind of whole new big project. But apparently, I just subscribed to his thing. I did the monthly thing. I think $7 a month, because coming up is an interview, I guess, apparently with Jonathan Hickman and Grant Morrison.
Damn.
So it's Jonathan Hickman interviewing Grant Morrison, and it's like up to his subscribers to you know join in the video and just like watch them talk to each other. But that was a recent thing you can get in on for $7 a month. Not bad. So I'm curious to watch that conversation. They already have a date in the email when it is, and I forget when it is, but but there's a bunch of other stuff happening with Substack. Apparently, so people are like judging whether Substack's a viable kind of business model or not, because people think it's like Substack, I guess, apparently had a lot of funds from the get-go from other entrepreneurs, whatever. So I think they have like millions of dollars to give to these certain creators to pull them over. Like for like, you know, at least a small contract, you know, to have people subscribe to their channel, because you're not just subscribing to Substack, you're subscribing to only these specific writers. So Jonathan Hickman, James Tynion IV, Chip Zdarsky, you know, I think Scott Snyder, you know, a bunch of other famous comic book writers are writing these exclusives for Substack. And apparently there's no contract that says you can't just have these on Substack. Once you're done making these comics on Substack, you can get them printed somewhere else and have the physical comic through like Dark Horse or Image or whatever. Nice. So people are like, what's the substantial good for Substack? Because they're just giving money to creators to fund their projects, I guess, to hopefully get people to subscribe to their thing. But how long is this going to last? You know, so that's a big deal that's going on in the comic book community. I'm not sure if you guys are familiar with that at all.
Not at all.
It's kind of an interesting kind of thing happening.
What does that mean for these writers that have been writing for like famous popular characters for so long that are leaving now?
Yes,
you know,
like James Tynion IV, like he's stopped writing Batman. He's going to write exclusively for Substack. But you have other comic book creators like Chip Zdarsky. He writes for both Marvel and DC. They don't have they both company. I think both companies stopped their exclusive contracts for the most part.
Yeah.
So during this weird timing, because now Substack's like mine. So Chip Zdarsky said he's not going to stop writing for both companies. He's going to write for all three, and he even, I guess, for his big tier, the founder's fee, that's $250 a year. I think he calls it Chips Fans or something, some fun weird name. You get like an exclusive cover that he drew and stuff. I guess you apparently get 2 copies of that black and white version copy. So it's good for like the speculators market as well, because, you know, that's only access to get these special comics that you can flip, at least one of them.
Is it digital
for money? It is. You know, I think it's both physical and digital. So I think the first thing is like, I think the first thing is like digital. You get like a kind of a HTML format comic you can scroll through like email style.
Right.
And then I think they send you a physical comic that those that specify that they're going to send you a physical comic. So I think Johnny Cates, he's writing Venom, and I think I guess he just finished Venom run, so he's doing the Incredible Hulk now. But he's going to do. I think he just announced his own publishing company called KLC, Kids Love Chains, which is a quote from Todd McFarlane from Spawn. So that's his publishing line now. Is Kids Love Chains. Him and Ryan Stegman, the drawer from Venom, illustrator. Blanking out what they call themselves.
You tired, bro? You looking for Chester drawers over here?
Yeah, man. Yeah. Sorry, I saw we got a private chat.
I knew what you meant. Sorry, I was just fucking with you.
No, I was checking our private chat. Sorry, and say.
I was just messaging y'all about that. That you can check on me for saying messenger. But no, I was trying to send y'all the name of that comic. I finally discovered it after digging a while. Have y'all read?
What was it?
Captain America: Castaway in Dimension Z.
It looks dope.
All right.
It is dope. If you haven't read it, it is great, and I think it is Rick Remender. And yeah, it is.
Yeah, it is.
He does, he does a lot of those weird, like
he got in trouble recently, bro. Yeah, I know. Well, it's not for like nothing like I guess that bad. I don't know, it's pretty bad, but like I guess apparently for one of his recent comics called Scumbag, I think it was for Scumbag. The illustrator, the artist, didn't get like credit or something for something. He didn't get paid. I guess he didn't get paid for anything. And
What?
like Rick Remender like just insulted him online for like this like and didn't like I don't know, it was this weird like online beef that happened. It's like okay. And then he like I think Rick Remender just like disappeared from like online for a while. And
That's
everyone's
bananas.
like all the artists was like, okay, are you not gonna like give me money? Like that's it? Like you just like dissing me? Like okay,
Dude, that's
yeah.
deeply
He like ghosted
disrespectful.
the artist. Like it's like all right. So I'm not sure because I think he's still on certain social media. So I don't know. I'm not. I didn't like further into that after that 1 week like a month ago. But
Well, I can tell you guys from the very small amount of work that I've done trying to be a comic book writer and hire
yes,
artists, it's extremely expensive if you want good work. And to not pay someone anything at all, I mean, as a writer of the caliber of Rick Remender, I imagine he could be like, I'm Rick Remender, like, I will hire you to, you'll get paid, right? And they probably would believe him because he's Rick Remender.
yeah, yeah.
Right.
But that's fucked up. That's deeply fucked up. I mean, that's like a regular floppy 24-page comic. That's like at least $1,600 for like
Yeah.
a good artist. And I mean, you can be talking about just pencils and inks, or I mean, it just depends. The medium's so different now, like
Mhm.
pencils and inks kind of blend together depending on who you're working with. But man, that sucks.
Yeah,
I like Rick
Mastodon.
Remender a lot, but that's fucked up.
Like our chat, Mastodon Comics brings up is like I like Remender and Scumbag is hilarious. It is a funny comic. It's a scumbag like dude that goes to shows and like pisses his pants and like he's just a weird dirtbag dude. Like he's funny, and he's totally a scumbag. He's trying to hook up with every girl. He's a total scumbag, but he's like the hero of the story at the same time. It's a funny comic.
Is this representative of who Rick Remender really is? Is that
right? Yeah. Yeah,
is
who
he
knows?
an actual scumbag?
Man, it's funny because man, I really like Rick Remender too. Because like, if you ever read his series called Death or Glory, it's about this like female like racer driver who's trying to like steal cars and do robberies and things to like get enough money to steal money to pay for her dad's heart surgery. And like it's really good, and it's full of like these weird characters and things like that. Like these cops end up getting like a chili pepper stuck up his butt and stuff. It's so fucking weird and off the wall, but it's so funny. And like the art is by Bengal. I think it's a French like artist illustrator. It's so good. The art is so good in it. I met that dude Bengal one time, and he's very hard to understand and converse with. But like, man, he's such a great artist. But like, yeah, I like Rick Remender a lot, so I was very disappointed to hear he's not paying his artist for Scumbag for some reason. So who knows what happened? The people behind him, who knows what happens? But very disappointing. But I mean, people are always complaining about like, oh no, the death of the comic book industry is happening. They've been crying that the sky has fallen for the past 20 years. But apparently during COVID, the past 2 years, comic book stores have made the most money, profit ever in like decades. So people are buying comics. People are buying stuff, whether it be digital or physical. There's no stopping it. Whether it be independent or Marvel or DC. Are you guys reading comics at all, or just watching movies, TV shows? What's your guys' comic lifestyle?
Nah, man, I haven't read a comic book in ages, bro. I mean,
but you created one though, man. That's awesome.
Yeah, I mean, I grew up reading comic books, and then I got really deeply back into comic books. All the way from when I got re-inspired, I was at just Barnes and Nobles, like digging through racks to see what the comic books were. Back in, I don't know, probably I feel like it was 2011. I started like looking through racks again, and then that led me down a very deep rabbit hole of getting into Comic Cons and that kind of stuff, and getting to I have connections. Half of my friends list is indie comic creators, whether they're writers or illustrators and stuff like that. But I guess I personally got burnt out on it because so much of it is it does feel like a rat race, like people don't. It's weird, man. Every industry you get into, if you've been in bands playing music, or if you've been into writing or art, or if you've been into making memes, they all have their dark side of like, this is how you get popular, right? And that's when everything sucks.
Yeah.
and it's just so fast. Like the harder you try to like, you know, connect and dig into a quote unquote industry, you find the dark side. So I got burnt out on comics a while back, and I stopped doing it because I was trying to make them. I need to get back into it just for the enjoyment of reading stories. And you know what? That just brings me to a point. I'll stop talking on my end about it, which was that I have a lot of friends that don't understand comic books, right? They hear that I love that I work on comics, and they say like, "Oh, that's children's shit," right? Like, and you know, I love that conversation when it comes up, because I get to say like, well, when was the last time you read a comic? Just like you're doing right now. You're asking, what comics are you guys reading? Well, these people haven't read comics since they were 5 years old, getting the, you know, funny papers or whatever. And it's just, comics are just like any books, you know, like great writers are just using imagery to tell their stories, as well as, you know, they get comics are a weird medium because you can do dialogue and you can do imagery, and the mix is so unique, whereas books don't do it like that. So I just think that anybody that doesn't understand comics in that way is missing out on a lot of great stories, you know.
No doubt.
So I mean, to be honest, I don't have anything recent that I've been reading, but I still have a deep respect for comics in that way.
Yeah, I'm sorry, TJ. In the chat, you said, did I miss the heads up? I'm sorry, I forgot to send you the link. It was a last minute thing. Weren't sure it was going to work or not, but we made it work. We've been talking for like an hour and a half. I'm sorry, TJ, but like, yeah, I'm sorry. I should have shot you.
Shout out, TJ. It's my fault, man. Whoa. I was supposed to be coordinating this, and like, you know, my internet. So I'm down at the pool right now. I don't know if y'all
He's on vacation.
I'm like, the pool is right behind me because this is the only place I could get internet right now.
We're jumping in the pool tonight. We're jumping.
But I'm taking the laptop.
You're right though. With comics though, you know, people don't take it seriously because, like, I mean, like that's been the history of comics since like the 1920s. You know, people have been like, oh, you write comics, like comic books, or you write comic strips in the newspaper. People took respectable comic strips, you know, as a medium. That's the comic strips in the newspaper are a respectable medium, but comic books were a joke. You know, people were like, had to hide their jobs and crafts from their wives and families. Like, no, I don't write comics. I'm a criminal. I don't write comics. You know, like it was an embarrassing thing. You know, which is very strange. You know, I mean nowadays, but you know, and that's kind of like where I come from too. For anything, any medium I take in is always the outlander kind of medium or perspective. Like music is. I work for a death metal, extreme metal label. Like, people don't listen to that on the radio. That's kind of the outlander stuff. Comics, you know, there's a comic for everyone. I want to recommend everyone read comics and try it out because there's something for you. Whether you don't think you like comics, guarantee you will, because there's something for you out there. You just got to find it. You know, same thing with movies or music. There's something out there for you. You just got to find it. But, you know, it's funny to hear, you know, comics be like, you know, kind of insulted that way. But even nowadays, and same thing with metal music being in the Grammys finally, and even then the band that won, you know, best metal band of the year, they got a Grammy for it, is like Death Heaven, who is like a pop metal band that's not really metal, you know. It's like, so, you know, that's kind of how things are. It takes, I guess, a lot of people to kind of get into a mindset to understand what things certainly, I guess, are, or what they, I don't know. It's hard to describe, man. But John, what do you think, man? Last thoughts of the night. Last thoughts of the night before we close it out.
I don't know, man.
He's like, I'm tired, bro.
Yeah, I don't know. I was just scrolling through Twitter, looking at Spider-Man stuff, seeing what people are talking about.
Yeah, dude. What'd you find?
And people were thinking they saw Matt Murdock. As
what? No way.
They're thinking they saw his arms.
Oh, come on. No. No.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Damn bandages.
Yeah, they think they saw his arms or something. And people, like I saw a tweet that said they heard a reptile, or they're trying to confirm the whole Sinister Six in the trailer, but I don't think we saw the whole Sinister Six. People are really reaching right now, you know?
Yeah, they're reaching. Yeah.
Well, you know, this is the perfect subject for John's theories. I feel like this is the kind of
John's theories.
We gotta keep this going, John. Like, keep giving us the stuff, like the little Easter eggs that you're finding.
It's nuts. I don't know. Yeah,
Dude,
yeah.
people are reaching for those YouTube clicks, man. They're reaching.
Yeah.
I don't know. I feel like hopefully we see more. They said that was a teaser. If we get an actual trailer, I don't know the difference because that was a full-blown trailer. Maybe we won't get another one. Maybe that's it because we've gotten every single Eternals trailer and we've gotten every single Shang-Chi trailer.
Man, that last Eternals trailer was great.
Yeah.
I was very skeptical about Eternals until that last trailer. That last trailer solidified that this could be a really cool movie.
I agree. I feel like they really upped the ante with that one, and I also thought it was weird that they made the ultimate big bad the deviants. Like, I don't know what the deviants are. They seem like some kind of evolutionary mistake or something. But I was surprised that it didn't have anything to do with the multiverse or anything at all. They were just like, oh yeah, by the way, there's this thing called deviants.
Mm-hmm.
We're here to take care of those.
Yeah, Thanos is a deviant.
He is?
Yeah. Thanos is a deviant. There's like three races, I guess, in the Marvel Society. There's deviants is like Thanos and like a lot of monster-looking creatures, and then I forgot the other ones, man. There's like the humans, I think, and there's like something else, and they look like normal. They look like the rest of the Eternals, but man, I forgot what they're called. Let me look it up.
I'm gonna send a link on it. I just watched something about it. But Thanos is the son of a Eternal.
Yeah. Scientist.
Yeah, Thanos is half deviant, half Eternal, or some shit like that.
Oh, I thought he was like a son of the Titans.
It's weird. In the comics, at least, that's how it is. Yeah, they do weird shit, but I think that's what this movie is going to explain. The Eternals is going to explain kind of this convoluted who's the god of who, because we keep getting introduced to bigger and bigger bads,
Well, that's the good thing, that's the maybe not the good thing, but maybe that's the upside of having a Marvel Cinematic Universe, is that the actual Marvel universe in the comics has a lot of the different threads for this stuff. You could pull it from here and there. I mean, it's like we've seen it with Kang. They're pulling all these different, He Who Remains is not a Kang variant, but they made him one, and then you have a ton of, and so now they're going to probably pull all that together.
Man, whenever you say he who remains, I always think of South Texas, Maine. Yeah, he who remains.
Is that did anybody make a meme of that?
And then instead of Kang, Kang the Conqueror, I think at TI is I'm a Kang. Hip hop variant covers out there.
We need to make
I guess memes. So I guess there's Eternals and Deviants. So I guess Deviants are the evil looking guys, Eternals are the good looking ones.
The good looking ones.
Here. Celestials, but aren't Celestials
aren't they the biggest?
Celestials are the Eternals boss. Yeah, they boss around the Eternals. They're the robot guys.
Okay, yeah, so the robot guys. Those are the first species in the Marvel universe, right? They're the ones that gods. They're the creators of everything, right?
They were created by someone else, but they are a godlike level.
Okay, so they're created by. There's the Eternity, right? There's the being known as Eternity with 3 faces. Did he create the Celestials?
The 3 faces is fuck. That the 3 faces is something else. God damn it! In the chat,
it showed up in Loki though.
It did, but there should only be one, not multiples of it. So
I'm just thinking back to my earliest, in the 80s and 90s when I grew up collecting Marvel cards. I'm trying to think of, Eternity was the character with a cloak that has the galaxy inside of it.
Yeah.
There's not 3 faces. You're right. Well, no, that's not. Oh, the Living Tribunal is who I'm
That's
thinking.
it. Thank you. Yeah, Living Tribunal.
I don't have any idea, but I do love that Marvel has that whole super high level meta celestial situation going on.
Yo, recently in DC Comics, Scott Snyder was writing Death Metal, which is this big event that was going to end the DC universe and reboot it. And he was there's going to be an evil dark universe, like, you know, Stranger Things, like the upside down, there's like an opposite of everything. He's like, yeah, so we have like the dark, you know, this character, the dark this character. And I was like, all right, well, the one to like the opposite of like the god of like the DC universe is man, I just blanked out. So I was like, he's like,
Google,
is
man,
that
get
character?
that Google out.
I'm like, is that character gonna be in this? And he's like, no, we don't want to mess with like the spirituality of like the DC universe, you know. But yeah, but I was like, but I caught him in a live interview because like I'm like, okay, so you're gonna have like the evil version of this character, the evil version of Spectre, the evil version of like these like big tier characters, like the top tier one. Are you gonna have like the top tier evil version of that guy? Is like, no, we're not gonna. I was like, okay, so nothing's
DC's
gonna
not
matter.
ready for that, man.
yeah,
Yeah.
he was not ready for that question.
DC movies are definitely not prime for that yet. I mean, Marvel's working their way that way, and I appreciate that because besides all the little IP fights with Spider-Man and X-Men and all that, like that's some shit that's not been touched by any movie studios because nobody is gonna watch a movie about that shit at this point.
It's funny because like I'm really excited that they're introducing all these like weird things now because people have been so involved over the past decade or two, like that they know these things now. So now we can get Celestials. Now we can get
but not even close. So really, if you think about it, like man, when you think about the Infinity War, man, there's so much untouched. Like I think Infinity War was got me most excited about comics as like a teenager was like, you know, Adam Warlock and just so much of what happened in Infinity War was a huge deal. Like, and it's just not there in those movies at all. It's like totally. It's like we talked about with Civil War. It's all been washed away for intellectual property, you know.
Mm-hmm.
I was really hoping Keanu Reeves was going to be Adam Warlock.
Oh,
man,
wow. That would be ridiculous.
That'd have been so good. That'd have been so perfect to shave his head, you know, like he could have been Adam Warlock, man. That'd been so cool.
Shave his head though. I mean, wouldn't he have like the locks? Like
that's true. He could have gold locks. Yeah.
I'm trying to. When was he bald? I mean,
I was thinking of. You're right. I think he always had hair, huh? Adam Warlock always had hair.
Yeah, Adam Warlock is a weird dude. Like, there's a series of different. You know, there's like the Infinity Gauntlet saga, and then after that, there's like the opposite of that, where they create.
There's Infinity Gauntlet, there's Infinity War, and then there's like Infinity something. Damn, I forgot.
Well, the point that I was going to allude to, because I can't remember it either, but they did reference that character that is supposed to be like the essence of all good or whatever.
Yeah.
Like,
the essence, Adam Warlock. They referenced Adam Warlock. He was in a sarcophagus.
Right.
Yeah, it was all gold.
I mean, I enjoyed all the Jim Sterling, man. I haven't really kept up with any of his comics in modern day, but Jim Sterling had a huge effect on me as a writer, man. Like his shit was very I feel like he wrote in absolutes in a way that was digestible for a person becoming of age, like, because most people don't want to deal in absolutes. Like, as you get to understand life, there's no absolutes, but like he had a lot of great ways of looking at all these aspects of, I don't know, I was gonna say life, but it's almost bigger. This is a spiritual thing, right? Like that's what was enjoyable to me about the Infinity Stones, with like mind and heart and, you know, all these aspects distilled down. Like I feel like he did something fun and making them very graphic into comics. You know, I enjoyed that saga in that way as a kid. It helped me elevate into other, mindsets as a result.
Yeah,
so
like
I would love to see that in movies.
As TJ brings out, the third one is called Infinity Crusade, and
that's it.
Yeah,
the Crusader.
Yeah, man. And then the Infinity Watch watches over the stones. Damn, like I got both George Lopez and Starlin to sign my Infinity Gauntlet first issue. But yeah, man. Yeah, you're right. I mean, in Guardians of the Galaxy, I think part 1, they totally alluded to Adam Warlock happening. He's in the tomb. He's in the sarcophagus.
Yes.
So like I would really wish they did get Keanu Reeves to play that role. I think he'd be awesome in it. I'm not sure who else you guys would star cast as Adam Warlock. Or are there potential characters coming in the MCU? I mean, who else do we think we can get? Who else is coming?
I think that the role of Adam Warlock is probably too. I don't think it should be Keanu Reeves. I think it should be somebody more low key that's coming up. I
Okay.
feel like Marvel does a good job of casting in that way. Like I didn't know who
Someone
Chadwick
more
Boseman
humble,
was.
or like he's pretty humble. So I'm not sure, like what kind of personality do you think that the character should have?
Oh God, that's so difficult, man.
Like an
I'm
unknown.
basically, I'm not gonna pick
An unknown.
somebody that's known. Yeah, I would say they could probably find somebody on their radar. But I did
Mhm.
want to bring up somebody in the Infinity Watch character list that has been
Pip the
you know,
Troll. Pip
gross.
the Troll. Danny
Yes,
DeVito.
thank
Pip the
you,
Troll.
thank you. How did you?
Is that
How
really?
did you know?
Is that really
How
what
did
you're
you
thinking?
call that? Yes, Pip the Troll is highly overlooked and should definitely be. But
DeVito.
yeah, Danny DeVito would be amazing. I didn't even think of that at all. I mean,
Is he wearing like hooves or just like little lower legs with little hooves?
yeah, he's like a satyr or something. But yeah, I mean, the lineup of see, that's where I first knew Gamora. You know, like Gamora got co-opted into
Yeah.
Guardians of the Galaxy. Gamora was the whole thing of Guardians of the Galaxy is a new like 2000s thing that we're basing it off of. But so much of it comes from the Infinity Watch, and Gamora was just like a bombshell. Like in her original drawings, it's just like. I mean, the costumes for Gamora, I don't think that they would even try to do them in real life, because they were, they're out of sight. But yeah, I mean, I'm just looking at comic covers right here of Warlock and the Infinity Watch. It's like after, like Adam Warlock gets the Infinity Gauntlet and like hangs on to it for a long time, and then he gives each one of the stones to the folks in the Infinity Watch, and they all have one, and they just go and do shit for a long time, and like. I love that. Like, I don't like how the movies made the Infinity Stones like a big MacGuffin. It's like we got to get it, and we got it, and now it's done,
Right.
and now we have Loki, and they don't mean anything, and it's like that's
Right.
boring. Like there was so much you could have done with it. Maybe they will. I hope. Maybe that's my point. Is I hope they will. At some point, maybe after the multiverse collapses or something. Like. Adam Warlock can get the actual real Infinity Stones and have that I have no doubt. We like to joke about they're running out of ideas. No, they're not. There's so
They're
many
not.
fucking ideas.
Yeah.
Oh
to
yeah.
do.
There's so many.
I would pay 7 tickets to go see Infinity Watch, like based on the comics. Like there's so much good stuff there. Like I mean, just right now, just going back and looking at some of these covers, I remember why I was so inspired. Like. It doesn't even compare to the movies. I'm like looking at Adam Warlock with the Infinity Gauntlet on right now and the stones, and man, you got to give credit to Jim Starlin, man. He was a writer and an artist, which is kind of rare, like to be good at both. Like so,
No doubt. I'm gonna try to share my screen for a second. Hold on.
Oh,
See if
shit.
this works.
I don't know much about. I feel like maybe trying to stand Jim Starlin too much might be risky. I don't know what he's doing
Yeah,
these
check out
days.
this cover of Ghost Rider
Oh yes,
46.
lose.
Pointed at this guy, this is loser over. How savage is this cover?
Damn,
Really savage.
brutal.
Oh
I
my
love how
god.
not only is he Ghost Rider, but he's just mean as hell.
Just insulting this dude, calling him a loser everywhere, so many times over and over again. Just hanging his head in defeat. Awesome.
You
Sorry,
gotta
I had
save
to-
that
I
one.
had-
That's gonna be a great
I had to
meme.
share that. Oh, John left us. Oh, damn.
Well,
All
hey,
right.
guys,
Well,
I gotta
let's
take
call
a
it a
huge
night.
piss myself. So
we'll
sounds
call it
good.
a night. Thank you guys. Thank you all for watching. Biggest turnout right now happening. 6 watching. Thank you so much. Thank you, Perry, Case and Comics, Heavy Plate Productions, TJ Slabdragon Watson, always a homie. Mastodon Comics and Music. Solak is here. Perry is here. Yo, thank you guys so much. We're gonna head out. Thank you guys for tuning in, and maybe we'll catch you all next week for the next What If episode and what else is happening in the
I think so.
MCU or Marvel history. Thanks, Phil. Thanks for popping in during your vacation, dude. Thank you so much.
Absolutely. My pleasure.
All right. We'll see you guys later. Peace.
All right. Peace, y'all.